Hello, I'm Hannah and these are my grammar nuggets. Today's lesson is based on a takeaway from our first lesson. If you tend to think that the word always serves as a time marker for the present simple or the present continuous tenses, then this lesson is definitely for you. Please look at these sentences and check them for mistakes. John always travels Route 66. It is absolutely right to say so, because in this case the word always means that John travels it quite often, regularly at certain intervals. If you put it on a timeline, it will look this way. Let's move on to the second sentence. He's always traveling Route 66. And the present continuous here is absolutely right, because what it means is that someone finds John's behavior irritating or annoying. For example, whenever he visits the United States, he travels Route 66, and one of his friends is irritated by that. So we use it to express irritation. Number 3. He has always wanted to travel Route 66. Is it right? Maybe I should say he always wants to travel Route 66, or he always wanted to travel Route 66. Look at the timeline. The word always here acts as a period of time. He started wanting it some time ago, and all this time up to the present moment he has wanted to travel this route. If you remember, the present perfect is normally used with stative verbs to talk about some action or state that started in the past and has lasted over a certain period of time. For example, I have known John for 5 years. Likewise, we use the word always. Always means a certain period of time. Why can't I say he always wants to travel there? It would be weird, because if somebody wants something, they want it constantly. It's not that they want it from time to time. The meaning would be lost. And why can't I use the past simple tense? He always wanted to travel this route, because the past simple would mean that he doesn't want it anymore. Past simple describes actions in the past that are not connected with the present. So by saying he always wanted, I would mean that some time ago he had this desire, but now he no longer wants. Moving on to sentence number 4. He had always wanted to travel Route 66. Yes, it is also correct. If you look at the timeline, you will see that word always describes here a period of time, just like in this example, but in this case this period of time is not connected with the present, which means that he had wanted it in the past for a while, when something happened that made him stop wanting it. For example, last year he visited the United States and he traveled Route 66, so he had always wanted to travel this route and he finally fulfilled his dream. Remember that the past perfect is used to express actions that had happened before other actions, so there must be a mentioning of some action that took place in the past, and before this action he had always wanted to travel this route. And the last one, here we have the past simple. He always wanted to travel Route 66. Think about the rule of the past simple tense. The past simple tense is used to describe actions that happened some time ago in the past. Let's put it on a timeline to see how it would work. You may have noticed that what you see here is quite similar to this case, right? The only difference here is the interrupting action, or an action before which something had happened. The past simple is only possible if there is no mentioning about past actions before which other actions had happened. For example, he always wanted to travel Route 66 when he was a teenager. Or, in his childhood, he always wanted to travel Route 66. Or, John is dead and he didn't have an opportunity to fulfill his dream. So as you see, there are no mistakes in these 5 sentences. The word always doesn't serve as a time marker for any particular tense forms. Now let's move on to another exercise. Now please look at these sentences and try to spot 3 mistakes. The first one, my friend Paul lives in Bristol. He always dreamt to see the northern lights. To understand whether there is a mistake or not, we need to think about the function of the word always here. Is it an adverb of frequency? Does it tell us how often somebody does something? Or is it an adverb of a time period? And your answer is right if you say that it describes a period of time. So he started wanting to see the northern lights some time ago, and he still wants to see the northern lights. For this reason we need to change it to the present perfect tense. Tony and Mary jumped with a parachute. They always wanted to do it. Of course I can't use here the past simple because we have here the action of jumping. They jumped with a parachute, that's an action in the past, and they had dreamt of doing it sometime before they fulfilled their dream. So this action had happened before this one. For this reason, the tense we need is the past perfect tense. And the past perfect can also be used to describe an action that had lasted over a period of time before another past action. They had always wanted to do it. And in this case, the word always also describes a period of time. And the third one, Tony and Mary have recently jumped with a parachute. They always wanted to do it. Isn't it similar to the second case? Yes, it is, with the only difference that here we have the present perfect, whereas in the second case we just put it in the past simple. So would this change in tenses influence the choice of tense in the second sentence? You may be surprised to know that there will be no differences. Despite having the sentence in the present perfect, you still have to make the switch to the past perfect. If we change it to the present perfect, they have always wanted to do it, it would mean that they still want it up to now. And if we change it to the past simple, it wouldn't be connected with this action. If you want to remember these rules better, please leave comments about your dreams, how long you have had them, or if you managed to fulfill them some time ago, then how long had you wanted to do it before you finally had an opportunity to make your dream come true.